Hey guys, welcome back to Restoration Rescue. Fall is pretty much here, which sounds about right because we're falling behind on this project. Alright guys, so it is fall, which we're really actually super pumped for because it means the temperature outside isn't going to be scorching hot like it was all summer. So our pace is going to be picking up. We are happy with our progress. We're not upset that we're behind. If we really are. A lot of these projects take a normal person 4 or 5 years down the line doing this. We're lucky enough that we can do it every week, at least once a week. Some people have been luckier than us and doing two times a week to get this stuff done. We're really, if you did it 2 times a week, you'd be almost half a year at our point right now. But what we're gonna be doing today is we're coming up here, we're gonna be cutting this out, we're gonna be knocking this panel in, and maybe if we have time, this panel back in. So next week we can do the rocker. Like I said, last week we knocked out the back. We were able to do 2 in 1, which really helped us up with our progress. So we're gonna start cutting and grinding this thing back so we can start putting this thing in and getting it all lined up. Alright, so this thing is in where it needs to go. It took a lot of measuring to get exactly where it needed to be. A little bit of cutting, a little bit of grinding, obviously welding to get it right where it needs to go. So that one's lined up pretty well. It takes a long time because we come in, we make sure we're measuring. We don't show a lot of the measuring because it's kind of tedious. We showed a little bit of it early, but we made sure that our door gaps are the same. We went from this truck, which is still completely solid, together. We haven't cut any floor pans out of it or anything like we have this one. Measured it and made sure our door frames are going to be exactly the way they're supposed to be and they're the correct size. Same as what we did with the floors and the holes for the cab mounts. We have measured. They do line up. I know we've had some comments before about it not. But what we're going to do now is we're going to come in here. We're going to cut this thing down to size. We're going to line it up with the bolt holes down here and get this thing welded in where it needs to go. right, so that's in mostly where we need it. As you can see, we left some nice beads for you guys and some tack welds throughout. You can see on this side, we haven't fully gotten it in yet. This right here is bowed out a little bit, so I gotta give it some old persuasion from the old metal hammer to get it right where it needs to be. But that thing's pretty lined up. We just have to come back in, drill some extra holes in here to make sure that these are all lined up and up here. Weld this up in here, and this part we'll take care of when we do the floor. As you can see, we have a pretty big hole. But what we're gonna do is next week, we're gonna come back in here, do the outer rocker, and this will be all set, all lined up. Our measurements are perfect. So the door is gonna fit right where it needs to be. I know I had a commenter a couple months ago, or a couple weeks ago, saying that we might be misaligned, but we made sure that we're all lined up throughout this process, so it should just slap right in where it needs to go. But that is gonna be a wrap for this week. We'll see you guys next Saturday when we hit the outer rocker, and maybe we can even start lining up some doors.